Alright, we're back with another T-scussions. What is this, episode 3? We haven't done one in a couple of months. It's kind of hard to get us all together, but once again, we have myself, Tmandd, Choka, say hi, Choka.
Hello, Choka.
And Eats, say hello, Eats.
What's up?
So, the topic that we're bringing up today, and I guess it's on point for Pride Month, is gaming. Gays in gaming, gay representation in gaming, whatever you want to call it. And the two topics we're going to talk about is the best gay representation that one of us feels personally is good in a video game, and the worst representation of gays in a video game. And I have two good examples. So the first one I want to kick off is, or the first topic I want to kick off is the best representation, or at least what I think is the best representation. So, with the announcement of Mortal Kombat 1 that's coming out later this year in September, I've been going back through some of the old cutscenes from the other Mortal Kombats, from NetherRealm, and then the Midway games, and there's a cutscene with Kung Jin, who's the cousin of Kung Lao, and if anyone remembers that, Kung Lao died in Mortal Kombat 9, and he became Revenant. Anyway, so Kung Jin, he's going to Raiden's temple, and he's trying to rob it. And I believe he's taking back like something that the Kung Lao family gave to Raiden or whatever. And Raiden shows up and says, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he beats the shit out of Raiden. And then come to find out, Raiden let him beat him up. And he's like, "All right, so why are you here?" And Kung Jin's like, "Well, you got everyone killed or whatnot. And this is my family's amulet or whatever." And Raiden's like, "Why don't you put your anger aside and join the temple? Join the temple of the Shaolin and become a fighter." And Kung Jin says this, and they don't beat you over the head with it, and this is what I love. Kung Jin goes, "They won't," and then he pauses, "they won't accept me." Rain puts his hand on his shoulder, and he goes, "The Shaolin do not care about who you love, they just care about what's in your heart," or something like that. And I believe that's like the best gay representation in a video game ever, because it's not beating anyone over the head with it. It's tasteful. It's not trying to patronize anyone. It's a character story, and it's not his whole story. Like if you play the rest of MKX, it doesn't make his whole identity about being gay. It's a thing that happens. Why he thinks he can't join the Shaolin, and it's just a small thing, and they move on from it. So that's what I believe is the best one, or at least my favorite one. Because what got me on this topic in the first place, because Pride Month was just around the corner, and this was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, and I was thinking about how everything is like gay now, and I started thinking about video games. I'm like, well, there's actually not that many like gay characters in game, and I actually had to start like thinking about it too. So with that and then Mortal Kombat, I was like, okay, well, there we go. There's one. So Choka, you're going to be next up on the list. So what do you think the best gay representation is, at least from what you've played?
Me personally, I'm the best gay character.
You're not a game character. No one will ever make a game about you. I mean, no one can even finish a book with your character, like you as a character in it. So I don't know why the fuck you think you'd get a video game.
Well, I have nothing for this. I don't know any gay characters that are good.
So, alright, Choka hates gay people. So, when we get to our second topic, I'm sure he'll have a lot to talk about. Eats, what about you?
I think characters like Shane in Stardew Valley are great because there's a whole arc about him struggling with it and then coming to terms with it toward the end of his ordeal. And it deals with his grandpa and everybody raising him, having to, learn about it.
So, both
Sorry,
Choka and I both played Stardew Valley, and I don't remember that whatsoever. I guess I just never talked to Shane. Choka, did you ever marry Shane?
No, I didn't talk to dudes in that game. I only talked to the bad blonde bitch.
Alright, Choka's a major homophobe.
It only comes out if you, are a male character trying to romance Shane.
So tell me, this is, honestly, this whole thing is new to me, so, talk more about that. Because you said every character, every character gets involved, the grandparents and all that. What's the townsfolk reaction to it, overall? Or what's the journey?
There's not really beyond just the 3 or 4 characters that are directly involved with it. Nobody else says anything.
Well, what are the 3 characters? What do they say?
Already, the grandparents come to terms with it, and Shane has to go through all this shit where he comes to terms with it too. I mean, That's really, I've never done it, but yeah.
I don't know, man, because like both Choka and I both play Stardew Valley. We didn't know about this. I think you just outed yourself, bud.
I might have dabbled a little bit, but who knows? Who knows?
Okay. So Stardew Valley, how I mean, there's a couple like story incidents in there, but there's not too much. So I do find that interesting that was in there because again, I've never played it because I didn't get friendship with all the characters. I just wanted the one like the wife I wanted, and I didn't really care about the others. And I'm sure Choka, that's what he said. He said him after the blonde bitch. All right. Well, since I'm the only one that picked a good one.
Wow.
Sorry, Stardew Valley's not a story game. I don't know what you want me to say to that.
It could be.
It could be. It can't. No, there's not a story. What's the story?
You're reviving your grandpa's farm, man, and you're fixing the community center and reviving this entire town.
Makes me kind of want to go play Stardew. Not gonna
It's
lie.
such a good game.
That story has as much depth as the Super Mario Brothers on the regular Nintendo. There, I said it. It's a good game. There's no story there. Anyway, so let's talk about my example I gave up then. Choka, I know you played MKX.
Yeah.
So, what?
No, that was the one I didn't play. I played 9 and 11. Shout out Taliban. I didn't play MKX.
To be fair, I don't blame you. I didn't actually like MKX's gameplay, at least compared to 9. But still, I swear to God, I thought you played it. Alright, well, let's talk about mine. Well, alright. Based on the example I gave, would y'all find that tasteful or distasteful? Ethan, we're going to start with you on that one.
I think it's somewhat tasteful because they're, like, it's there, but they're not necessarily just jamming it down your throat. You know? Like a lot of companies try to do with Pride Month, and I don't have a problem with any of that. It's just when they do it just to say, hey, look, we're cool, you know. And it doesn't seem like that's they're doing with it.
Alright, and to our resident homophobe, Choka, what's your thoughts on it?
The way you described the scene, I'm okay with it, I think. Because he runs in, beats the shit out of a god, whether or not the god let him beat the shit out of him, right? He's like, well, I'm gay. And then the god's like, that's okay. That is a tasteful. That is a gross mischaracterization of. That's exactly what you said.
That is a gross mischaracterization. I mean, my God, I was joking about the homophobe thing, but like the way you described it, I'm pretty sure that's the only thing you heard. He's like, I'm gay, and you better accept it.
Right. No, I'm gay, and no one accepts me. And then the god's like, well, I do, and it's okay after that.
You need to go like watch the story. You don't have to play it. Go watch the story because you are so off base.
We both know I'm not going to do that.
I know you're not. All right, well, let's go to a topic I know you're going to like. The worst representation of gays in gaming.
All of them.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh shit. So there was a game that came out a couple years ago called Tell Me Why, and I was kind of following that game a little bit when they were announcing it because I kind of like the old like Walking Dead style of games where it's more of a novelization rather than a game, and you can like ask certain questions or whatever. And it's supposed to be like a mystery, and there's like superpowers involved. I'm like, all right, that seems pretty neat. Played the game, and that is not really what it's about. I mean, kind of, but not really. But anyway, so the premise of the game, there are two girls and girl kids, and the game starts, and they're like at a pier at like their house in Alaska. And one kid runs out to the pier, like at the edge of it, and then the mother runs out with a shotgun, like, I'm sorry, so-and-so, and something, or get out of here, some shit like that. I don't actually remember the whole thing. So then the other girl, the twin, comes in and stabs her mother, like, in the gut or whatever, and she falls in the lake and dies. And turns out the stab didn't kill her, it was her drowning in the lake because she fell in the lake. So the game, then that's how the game starts. You don't actually control anything, it's just the cutscene. And then the game skips years in the future, and what happened was the girl that the girl that the mother was chasing took the blame for stabbing the mother, so she got sent to a camp in Alaska. And the other girl, the one that actually did stab, but no one knows who did it, she got to stay with the sheriff, and the sheriff raised her. And the sheriff, I guess, also was paying money for the camp that the other girl went to, the one that stabbed the mother. Where anyways, the girl at the camp decided to transition, and you never actually know what the girl's name was prior to the transition, and that's one I'm entirely sure it's 100% intentional on the game developer's part. But their name is Tyler, so he's a female to male transition. And again, so this takes place in Alaska, and this is very important because this isn't like a super fictional like America. It's supposed to be like America as it was, 2006 when everything happened, or around that time, and then time skips to the now. And Tyler is such a fucking douchebag. I mean, the dude's a total dick to everybody. So the game starts, he's coming back from the camp he was sent to, and he meets all the people in town that, were there when they were both little girls, and they're trying to decide why their mother tried to kill the other girl. And they're like, oh, well, because maybe she knew I was trying to transition, I was trying to become a boy, and she was homophobic, and there's a bunch of clues here or there, and at the end of the game it lets you kind of decide what the end result was. But every person Tyler talks to, he's such a fucking douchebag. So there's one guy, and this dude's a major fucking simp for the kid's mother, and he was like, Tyler, and he's not really sure how to talk to Tyler, because before he was a little girl, last time he seen him was a little girl, now he's like a teenager or like young adult or something. So he's not sure how to approach him, how to talk to him, and Tyler's such a douchebag about no, it's he, you know how to talk to a guy, or some shit like that. And that's just one example, but he does this to every fucking person in the game. And the dude's also a judgmental prick as well. Remember, this takes place in Alaska, so when you're walking around in a ferry in one scene at the beginning of the game, you can see someone's truck with a bumper sticker with a gun on it, and the dude goes guns, ugh. So the dude's he's a judgmental asshole, but then gets mad at everybody else, judges everybody else because they don't know how to react to him being Tyler. And the whole game's him being a prick. And one thing I cannot stand about the game is that the way the game is framed, they want you to think Tyler's the good guy when he's such a fucking... I mean, first off, every character... I could do a video just on, or a whole discussion just on this, because every single character in that game sucks ass. They are just the worst type of person ever. I hated every fucking character in that game, but Tyler's among the fucking worst. So it gets mad at every fucking person for not doing his proper pronouns or whatever. And again, this is Alaska, and then they're like, oh, well, my mother didn't accept me back in 2006. Well, come to find out, maybe the mother was reading a transgender book to try and understand what her daughter, trying to transition to a son, was going through, which is what they find later on in the story. But they're still mad about the mother, thinking the mother was trying to kill her daughter / wannabe son because of the transition thing. It's just, the whole fucking game was just a gross mischaracterization, I think. Or at least, it tried to bash you over the head, it tried to preach to you, it tried to do everything that you really shouldn't do when it comes to social situations. And they did it all in one game. So, yeah, that is my vote for the worst representation in gay characters in gaming. So, East, we're going to start with you on this subject, so you go.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. I'm not just trying to cop out here. That was pretty bad. I think it's a lot less common to have any of it, so it's a lot harder to pick. But I feel like a lot of games were like Skyrim or anything where it's just kind of there. I don't know. I don't really have one for this.
But you're saying that's the worst representation, where they're just there?
I mean, I guess not really.
Who's the homophobe now?
I was about to say, the fact that they're just there, it's not good.
You've got a point.
That's an option in this world? No.
Yeah, I don't really have one. I don't play a lot of games that have anything like that in them.
Alright, so Choka don't want there to be any gays in gaming, and East goes out of his way to avoid games with gay characters. Glad to know what kind of company I keep. Fucking bigots. Anyways, Choka, your turn for the worst representation. I already know you're going to give a stupid answer, but let's go ahead and hear what you got to say.
Yeah, so when I said all of them, I kind of wasn't joking.
Elaborate.
Because like you brought up before, the Overwatch, the entire roster is gay to some degree. And that pisses me off because there's no, like, originally no backstory to why they were gay. They just retconned everyone to be accepting of everyone else just to please the fans.
Yeah, that is pretty annoying.
Outside of, like, the writing that in, like, the game that you were talking about, they were just like, here, everyone's gay now, be happy about it. And that did things for the community, apparently, that wanted that, and I think that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, where's the other side of the
like
coin?
if you want to support that, right? If you want to support whatever market you're trying to pander to, fucking put some effort in. Don't just be like, hey, everyone's gay now, you can be happy. Fuck that. I think that's retarded. I think it's fucking stupid.
I actually like your position on that. Yeah, and Borderlands did this shit too.
For
Borderlands, I don't think Borderlands did it the same reason that Overwatch did. I think Borderlands just did it because they're like, fuck it, the character you pick is canonically bi, so whatever your ship is, it's correct. I think instead of pandering, they just like didn't care. Kind of like Eats is bringing up like an RPG where you can kind of just like the character you pick, you want it to be whatever, so you want the characters to be open to either one.
Sure.
You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Fable, like how you can do that. Because imagine if like you picked a character and you wanted to woo the other sex and you couldn't, like, so your character was canonically straight for that reason because you just couldn't woo any other sex. Fire Emblem does this to a degree.
There's a lot of games like that too, like the old Harvest Moon games were that way. Back like Harvest Moon 64.
Which is coming to the Nintendo No, the Game Boy Harvest Moon is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Which, at that point, it's fine, right? It's a role-playing game. You should be allowed to do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. But, like, a hero shooter that has no context for the characters, really, originally. And they're like, these are the people you can play as. There's no backstory. And then as soon as they were like, well, we need more support, they were like, cool, everyone's gay now. Nailed it. Fuck that. That's stupid.
One of the funniest things, so Bayonetta 3 comes out, and I guess they really wanted Bayonetta to be lesbian. Like, they really wanted it. So
Did Nintendo tell them to fuck off?
I don't think Nintendo is in charge. I mean, they own Bayonetta, but I don't think they're, like, in charge of that kind of decisions, I don't think. But anyways, the developers, I guess there's a time travel story, and she has a daughter or something like that. I don't know. I could be getting this wrong, but I know it's confirmed in that story that she's straight, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the time travel shenanigans. And people were pissed. They're like, ugh, you see how she dresses and how scantily clad she is? Obviously, she's a fucking lesbian. How could you guys be so homophobic? And it's like, are you listening to yourselves right now? Are you listening to yourselves? Like, the thing that you say that, like, homophobes are doing, you're literally doing. Because a character dresses a certain way, they're automatically, like, lesbian, or, like, what the fuck? Or because they're attractive, they're lesbian? Spoiler alert, most lesbians are not very attractive. Hey, that's just a porn thing, guys. Hate to break it to you. But, yeah. Well, this is a very unproductive topic, but I got my points across, and that's really all I cared about. Because I actually really wanted to talk about the MKX thing, because 1, MK1's coming out, 2, it's Pride Month, so I figured why not, and 3, I really wanted to ramble about Tell Me Why. I want to fucking completely dissect that. I mean, I'm fucking lazy, and I'd have to replay that game and, like, start writing notes and everything, but I just wanted to talk about that, because I cannot stand that fucking character. I hate that character. I hate every character. We need to do a book club.
Have you ever thought about, like, a therapist instead of your T-scussions?
You ever thought about I'm fucking poor, and I'm on the poor person program?
I think there's support for that.
I don't think there is.
Yes, there sure is.
Anyways, we should do like a book club thing where we all play that game and then we all just dissect it.
No, the last time I did a book club thing was for Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'm never doing that again.
Well, I told you not to do that.
Well, I did, and I hated it.
All right, I know this is not part of the T-scussion, so we're gonna cut it here because you and I are gonna talk offline about the book club thing. But all right, so that is our T-scussions on gaming with a emphasis on the gay. Anyway, so see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.